Well, hi, Grace. Good to see you again. It's been a while since our last session, and just gonna check in with you to see how things are going since we last met, and then we'll pick up.
Yeah, it's been good. The last couple of weeks have been hard, but just reminding myself that every day is a new day and it's okay to have hard days and there's always going to be more good days than bad, and I just have to remind myself that and just reminding myself that do not bring work home. You need to go home and don't bring it with you. Just refocus on yourself, and then the next morning you can focus back on work when you get there. Just kind of setting boundaries for myself, honestly.
Wow, that's great to hear that what I hear you saying is that you're learning more boundaries and what healthy changes for
Mhm.
yourself, not taking so much work home. And, and would you like to tell me more about that? How that change has been for you?
Yeah, so honestly, I rarely like take physical work home just because I'm a paraeducator, and so I don't really take anything home when I leave, but it's more the emotional aspect of it, especially when I have a really hard day and all I want to do when I get home is lay on my couch under a blanket and not do anything because I'm so emotionally drained. And I know that I'll have some of those days. I've had a day like that before, but just reminding myself that, even if it is okay to have days like that, just reminding myself that um, every day is a new day and not to hold that emotional distress on me because you can't do anything about it once a new day hits. It's gonna all day, every day is gonna be different. So that's kind of definitely the emotional distress, the emotional kind of just re-regulating myself, honestly.
So, what it sounds like, what I hear is that that is a great self-care to have a blanket. Yes, I have my own blankets too. My favorite ones. That even when on days that it's not cold, it's just that comfort.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
with the soothing, the self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and not in pushing through the emotions, which I would like to hear more about what the emotions are and how you can find long-term responses in those emotions instead of getting stuck in those emotions and overthinking them.
Honestly, I'm still working on it. It's really hard when I'm really distressed in my emotions and I kind of like internalize everything. And so, but kind of just refocusing on get under your blanket, go take a shower, go work out, like you're able to get those emotions out. And I also know that when I'm ready to talk about it, I want to talk about it. But until then, I have to kind of understand what I'm feeling before I can do anything about it. So I know that having a bad day, understandable, everyone has a bad day. You definitely have more good days than bad. And so when you have a bad day, just kind of just refocusing, making sure you're going through your self-care or my self-care and just reminding myself that it's okay to have a bad day and it's okay to not feel yourself until you kind of get through those emotions. And so yeah, if that's what I'm
Okay,
understanding, yes.
yes, that is great. Yes, to having the blanket, going to exercise. Those are both self care and that is a great boundary, healthy boundary for yourself. With um, the emotions and processing them first, like what are you really going through in that moment?
Mhm.
And then when you're comfortable, you have a trusted relationship with, maybe you have mentioned in your previous session with your mom or maybe a close friend, a coworker you get along with to open up more, that
Mhm.
a coworker that actually says hi and not ignored. I guess and working through that, and also a sense that there's some areas in the heart for your own healing process, maybe forgiveness in areas in your own self, and that is great. I and encourage you, with what I like to do with clients is find highlights even if there is like a cloudy day and not having a good day like Eeyore. And finding it the highlight, the thumbs up in the thumb.
Yes, absolutely. I know I try to do that every day with our team and just kind of focusing on there's always something good, even if it's really tiny, really small in a bad day, and just being like, hey, we drank a bottle of water today, or hey, we were able to um get one of our kiddos to use the bathroom without any help, or like stuff like that. And so it's really that's kind of what I really like.
It's awesome. Thank you for awesome way to in our session today with your dog walking
Yep. Yep. Yep.
person. Awesome. Yes, they're good therapy too. Yeah.
They really
But
are.
the sensory, yes. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. That's good. Unless you have any closing thoughts.
I not for our session. That was really good. That was a really good session, kind of just focusing on the emotional aspect of CPT, or not CPT, uh, PCT, excuse me.
Okay.
Which I honestly I really like person-centered therapy. So it really focuses on self-actualization, which the name of our theory that we chose was person-centered theory. Um, and we focused really good on my session on balancing and or not balancing, but being fully present and authentic. Um, and then on our session, we focused on the emotional aspect of making sure you're staying um, present in all aspects of your day. Do you think there's anything else that we can add to our debrief?
Maybe there's some areas, deeper areas to pull through. And please correct me, is person centered theory also to go back into childhood? Because then there's if there's any patterns that were brought up in cycles and patterns from our childhood through adolescence to presence, and recognizing what needs to be changed, what
Absolutely.
unhealthy cycles, patterns. And definitely been looking more for myself on patterns. What patterns am I doing again, with relationships? What do I accept or not accept? And then looking again to, okay, this same pattern happening again. What is it that I can do? I her therapist in working through and pushing through the patterns, and also setting goals again, going back and revisiting. So because this has been past the first session, to go back and look at what was the first.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree with you, kind of just reminding ourselves like that. And then our second debrief is feedback on their perspective and offering your encouragement or critique. So would you like to go first or would you like me to?
You can.
Okay. Well, it was really good talking about my emotions and focusing on that today. That was really cool to focus on something different than what we have before. Um, I don't really have any critiques other than um maybe adding another question or um yeah, but you we had a great opening and um kind of kept the session moving, so it was pretty good.
And so I'm not one that likes to ask why. And I catch it um, with work primarily. Like, not like, why did you do this? Why did you throw the ball up there? Yes, like come on. These these the aides on the playground do not ask the question why. But as I were going through with our feedback in our role plays and thinking of like how would your emotions at work affect coming home, and you had tapped into um, putting your work assignments and leaving that work, which I understand there is a deadline. There is like that crunch. You are paraprofessional. I emphasize with right now, I'm not in that role where I got to bring the boatload of paperwork home. I've been in that where
Yeah.
I've had over 32 kids as a pre-K. Now, California, it primarily calls them TK, and I've done it where here they have progress reports coming up and report cards. I'm like, oh, I get this. And I understand, but it's like, okay, you have to learn through that. So changing the extra questions could be like starting out with how do you notice your emotions? What can you work on in that
Mm-hmm.
area? Bring it home instead of me always saying, um, reiterating or hearing what I hear you.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm really doing while I'm at work is with the kids is with any of them, I will mirror the behavior. And it was really cool that the office manager this week, she came in. She's like, oh, well, let's all look at this kid that was Julian that was misbehaving to the point where I had to be right in front in case of peace about the dark this pencil, this marker about to have an increased aggression. Um, and I was like, oh, hello. I'm sure I knew that already, but it was neat to see someone else come in and to recognizing, oh, wait a minute, I can remember that now is
Mm-hmm.
to do that and have everyone. But because now in the public school, primarily this one is that there is a strict schedule that California is asking the schools to go do. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more testing that gets sent up to Sacramento. And it's like, oh, there is a lot. And I caught last night in my conversation that I was noticing um, because I'm so used to the small and catching in our feedback. Like I noticed it came very natural in our role playing and it wasn't like speed. I'm to remember that from our own mindset is like I'm not in work right now. I'm out of
Mm-hmm.
there. It
Mm-hmm.
changed. I've had a counselor therapist at a church through a church that had reminded me, Jen, don't put everything in a box. Don't break up everything that you go through
Definitely,
to
definitely.
remembering ask yourself, how are you doing in them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Hmm?
Well, thank you. Let's yeah, we're good.